Gross domestic product is the kingpin of global economic metrics. It measures the total value of goods and services within a country's borders within a year. Internationally, it's kind of like the Premier League for economies, a place to compare the economic might of nations. Domestically, GDP is also crucial as it reflects a country's economic health and living standards, or the lack thereof. In democratic societies, our dear leaders have a strong incentive to showcase their efforts in
boosting the economy
or
increasing GDP,
while the opposition wants to be shouting from the rooftop about everything that's going wrong.
It's all going wrong.
In countries that are air quotes not quite democratic, there's a strong incentive to massage the numbers for better optics on both the domestic and international stage. In some cases, this could even result in completely fabricated GDP numbers. What? Politicians? Telling lies? What here? No, I've never heard of such a thing. GDP is usually calculated by adding up the value of all the final goods and services produced by a country in a given year. This includes things like cars, computers, food, and services like healthcare and education. It's important to understand that only final goods and services are included in GDP, but intermediate goods such as parts and components are not. For example, remember when TikTok tricks you into buying that air fryer that now lives at the back of the cupboard? Well, the £4.50 worth of components that went into building it aren't included in GDP, while the £350 that you paid for it, well, that definitely is. This is to prevent the same item being counted more than once in the final number. So here's the equation for calculating GDP. You add together the consumer spending, which is private consumption, gross private domestic investment, this is business and residential investments, government spending on goods and services, and net exports, which is exports minus imports. And yes, in case you're wondering, this is going to be on the test. While GDP is a useful measure of economic performance, it does have its limitations. For example, it doesn't take into account the distribution of income or the quality of life of its citizens. A country with high GDP may still have high levels of poverty and income inequality. Another limitation of GDP is that it doesn't account for the negative impacts of economic activity on the environment. For example, GDP doesn't distinguish between economic activity that's harmful to the environment, such as pollution, and economic activity that's beneficial, such as clean energy production.
How dare you!
Overall, GDP is an important economic indicator that provides a snapshot of a country's economic health. While it has its limitations, it remains a useful tool for governments, businesses, and economists to understand and compare economic performance.
I think my stock just dropped